of time in Canada and in the United States. When we talk about feminism and what can be done through writing, how much of a contribution do you feel your writing has made in that challenge, overcoming that challenge, or trying to contribute towards that debate?
Sure. Well, first of all, yeah, I really appreciate what Shobha and Sonora have both said. I think doing what I do unapologetically is part of that approach, and I think Sonora's point about intersectionality is very well taken, especially at this particular moment when so many people's rights are, in fact, under assault. Brotherless Night is a feminist novel, and very intentionally so. And I should have mentioned before Kumari Jayawardena, right, who wrote the seminal text, Women in Nationalism in the Third World. And there is a scene in Brotherless Night where there is a feminist book club, and women sit around talking about this book and exchanging ideas and fighting for the space to have real dialogue. So I hope I'm also representing a range of women, centering civilian women in particular, and Tamil women in this particular case. So trying to bring stories that have historically been marginalized to the center, and to structure things in that way, to pay attention in that way, was something that I was trying to do. And Kumari's book was really influential for me, and I'm grateful to have read it and grateful to have any connection to the country where she wrote it. And there's a little quote in here, if you'll indulge me, I'm going to read it because I feel like it speaks to what you were saying about the Prime Minister. The processes of education, this is from Feminism and Nationalism in the Third World, the processes of education for women also contributed to the socializing of women into roles that were only superficially different from those of traditional society. Sri Lanka is thus an interesting example of a society in which women were not subjected to harsh and overt forms of oppression, and therefore did not develop a movement for women's emancipation that went beyond the existing social parameters. It is precisely this background that has enabled Sri Lanka to produce a woman prime minister, as well as many women in the professions, but without disturbing the general patterns of subordination. End quote.